Last story is that a study indicates that America sucks and Norway rocks. Okay, this is a UN report. And what they did is they looked at the quality of life of 155 countries, and they realized America's not number one. In fact, it's number 14. But at number one is Norway, which did unseat Denmark as the world's happiest country. Now, the Nordic nations are the most content, according to the World Happiness Report in 2017, produced by the Sustainable Development Solutions Network, a global initiative launched by the UN in 2012. So countries in sub-Saharan Africa, along with Syria and Yemen, are the least happy of the 155 countries ranked. Denmark, Iceland, Switzerland, Finland, Netherlands, Canada, New Zealand, Australia, and Sweden rounded up the top 10 countries. So those are the happiest places on earth.
Well, I do see one thing that unites them: socialism.
All right, Jack, let me explain something to you, and also to you, Anna. Because Norway is actually not a socialistic kind of country. Because there is capitalism all over Scandinavia, and saying that it's socialism that makes Scandinavia or even Norway great is just you're just showing how much of an ignorant person you are when it comes to this article. And Norway is not socialist. Again, it has a lot of good welfare benefits to people of the country. Like you get a lot of help if you don't have a job. You get help with your children. You get 1 year paid leave, and so on and so forth. There are a lot of benefits that you get being in this country, but that doesn't mean it is a socialistic country. It means that you get a lot of benefits, but the taxes aren't that high, and people aren't reliant on government or anything like that. You might look at the state or the government to be a little bit authoritarian, but again, you're free to do whatever you want. You rely on the free market, and there is little socialism in Norway, actually, because the only big aspect is the welfare system, but it only applies to a small percentage of the entire population. Like, say, the unemployment is around 3% right now, and these people get help from the government. But the 97% of the rest of the population don't get these benefits and are employed under some circumstances, which means they're paying taxes, and it's a capitalistic society. So saying that it's so much socialism that is making these countries great is totally wrong, because U.S. is actually getting a lot of benefits from Norway. They're getting some percentages of what we earn from oil each year, because U.S. helped find it, and it is because of the oil and gas, and also the fish export. Well, why Norway is doing really well, and it's because of capitalism. It's not because of socialism. So, Jank again, and Anna, of course, are showing their ignorance on just the basic stuff. You could have just looked this up, and it's not that hard to look up. Sorry for being so long with it, but I have to explain why they're so ignorant about this.
But we are told that socialism is the boogeyman. It might actually make you happy. Now, I've said this 1,000 times on the show. I'm a capitalist. I'm a small business owner. I believe in competition, but apparently they're doing something right in the socialist countries. So their rate of taxation in those countries are astronomical. I, as an American, find them to be too high.
Again, Norway is not a socialist country, as I explained. But again, I'm gonna talk a little bit about the taxes, because they're not that astronomical high. The things you pay tax on are basically there are higher taxes on wares, like if you buy food and stuff like that. There are taxes on that, but regular income tax is pretty much the same of the rest of the world. It's like the lowest you can pay is 28%, and usually it's around 35% is what people pay, and corporations pay around 25%, and then you have around 10% tax on regular. Whereas if you like go to a grocery store and buy something, usually each ware you buy or each item you buy has around 10% taxes. And that's basically where the sky high taxes are from. It's basically when you buy stuff, there are a lot of taxes. Or if you have a car, there are some additional taxes and stuff like that. But the sky high taxes isn't like to keep people on a level playing field, because there are rich people in Norway. You have people who run hotel chains and stuff like that, and they are billionaires. So I mean, or the people who transport oil in the big ships all over the world. It again shows you that Cenk hasn't done any research at all regarding this, because you can actually break it down in very simple terms.
But they're obviously doing something right. And unlike ideologues, I look at that and go, well, that is data. Those are facts. Those are interesting things to think about.
Are you projecting here, Cenk? Because it kind of sounds like you are. It kind of sounds like you're the one not checking your facts, and you're clinging on to your ideology of the regressive left, which I really despise, and I'm not the only one. So the projection is pretty
so
obvious
perhaps,
here.
I'm not saying we need to do exactly what they do and that everything they do is applicable to us, but perhaps we could learn a lesson or two from them.
Right, and I think Americans have a hard time looking at the high taxes in a country like Denmark, for instance, because when we think about taxes here in the United States, we think about waste, and our money is wasted. I mean, think about how much of our money gets wasted on private contractors and needless wars as opposed to taking care of our own. But in these countries, they don't do that. They do tax at a high percentage, but that money goes back to the people. It goes back to the people with quality health care, it goes back to the people with free education. All of the things that put us in a tremendous amount of debt here in the United States are things that are readily available in these countries where they're extremely happy.
Well, that's not entirely right, because a lot of the tax money doesn't go back to the people. It goes to foreign places, like aiding foreign countries that are poor and stuff like that. And it doesn't just go to the people. And when it comes to the free education, we have free education, and the healthcare system is somewhat okay. I mean, if you compare it to Germany, Germany has a better healthcare system, or even United States has some hospitals and some research that is better compared to Norway. But again, Norway is a small country. But there is a price for all of this, which Americans don't have right now. And that is the draft, where 18/19-year-olds have to serve 1 year either in the civil military, where you can go to, I don't know, help out schools or whatever, or any organization that does charity or stuff like that, or you can serve 1 year in the military. And you have to show up. You get picked up by the military police, and you have to show up to this and serve, unless there are some circumstances that make you not good enough to serve in these kind of circumstances, which is the military. But there is a price. which the United States doesn't have, which makes it possible to have free education and a somewhat good healthcare system. So it's not free. You're actually spend 1 year of your life to be able to do this.
And by the way, the only people who talk about healthcare in countries like Canada and how unhappy people are about it are American politicians who have a vested interest to make it seem as though healthcare sucks in Canada. How many Canadians are like weeping about how terrible healthcare is in their country?
Yeah, meanwhile, we're about to lose 24 million more people from having health insurance because of Trump care. And so, yeah, they've got a vested interest in making sure that you don't change the system, because this is the system that made them powerful and rich. And they have no interest in sharing it with you, even if it makes us a happier country, because it isn't about the country, it isn't about the citizens, it's about them and their greed. So there is a way to do a proper balancing act here. And by the way, socialism really is, I think in a lot of ways, very misunderstood.
Look, whether I agree or not what Trump is doing is irrelevant, because I'm not an expert on the whole Obamacare. And it's the Young Turks and other outlets like you with the extreme left leanings that have put him into office, which is making him do all these things. It's your own goddamn fault. You made this mess, now you have to lie in it. And when it comes to socialism being misunderstood, Venezuela, I think, are really disagreeing with you there, because that country was doing really well 10 years ago, and now it's doing really shitty because of socialism. They're basically eating their zoo animals because of socialism. Same with USSR or Soviet. That was a socialist run government and a country, and it all went to crap. Socialism doesn't work.
It means that the private industry does a lot of things. They make jeans, they make hamburgers and sneakers, and that the government does a lot of things, including public education and yes, healthcare, because we don't want you to die in the street. So it's just a matter of where you draw that line. There isn't that much difference between capitalism and socialism. It's just a matter of which industries you think should be private and public. It's not.
No, Jank, again, you're wrong. I'm gonna read something. I'm gonna leave the link down below. It's worldsocialism.org, and I'm gonna read just a little bit of what it says on that site. What is socialism? Central to the meaning of socialism is common ownership. This means the resources of the world being owned in common by the entire global population. But it doesn't really make sense for everybody to own everything in common. Of course, some goods tend to be for personal consumption rather than to share. Clothes, for example. People owning certain personal possessions does not contradict the principle of a society based upon common ownership. This means there is no private property. Basically, everyone owns everything, and there is no private corporations or anything like that. It's just everything is shared, and basically that is controlled by the government. Do you not understand the simple terms of what socialism is? Because you're conflating capitalism with some socialist elements, which has welfare and stuff like that, which we currently have, and actual socialism. It just doesn't work, Jank.
We're not talking about communism here, and apparently
you need a mixed economy, man. You got to mix that economy up.
And every economy is mixed. Our economy is mixed. Conservatives complain about big government. The biggest thing we have in the government is defense spending. It goes to the Pentagon, it goes to the defense contractors. So if you're going to complain about big government, you should complain about that. That's the largest chunk of the government.
And under socialism, the government wouldn't be any smaller, because it would have it needs to control the population somehow. I mean, socialism doesn't work, and communism and socialism is basically the same thing. And I don't know why TYT doesn't understand that this is basically the same type of ideology, but looks at communism. Oh my God, that's such a bad idea. Socialism, a-okay. This is so stupid because again, Norway or Scandinavia are not socialistic countries. If you want to look at socialistic countries, look at the disaster in Venezuela.
But that big government they love. So the reality is, if they've done it right, we shouldn't be so short-sighted. And yes, sometimes if for the right wingers, stupid to think America's number one, we shouldn't learn anything. No, if America was number one, it's because we actually did learn things and we valued education, not because we shut off ourselves to the rest of the world.
What the hell are you even talking about, Cenk? You make it sound like the USA is a third world country run by a dictator with huge military which suppresses free speech. I mean, this doesn't not help your argument at all, where you show you are projecting a lot and you don't even know what socialism is in your rant or a so-called argument. So I don't know what the hell you are talking about, because you're not talking in facts or evidence or anything like that. You're just talking out of raw emotion. Now, and you don't even have the slightest idea how Norway is even run. So, anyways, those are my thoughts. I'm getting frustrated when my country is being misrepresented, I should rather say, because TYT doesn't know the first goddamn thing about this country and thinks we're a socialistic society, which everything is just we're rich and everything is dandy. I mean, there are issues here which we have, and not everyone is a goddamn millionaire. It makes it sound like we're in some type of utopia, which we're not. We have strict borders. We have a somewhat authoritarian government, and we do have it pretty good here. But that's because the laws are strict and because of we have a lot of wealth which we have gained through capitalism. So, anyways, I'm gonna leave it off here. Thank you guys for watching and see you guys next time. Bye.